Mirai Kasuga is the center character and the face of the Million Live branch. She can be described as pretty dense, dumb, and light-hearted. However, I believe there is more to her as a character, and she shouldn't be reduced to those traits, as when you take a deeper look at Mirai as a character, you will realize that despite those traits, she has a big heart and is a lot more grounded than one would think. Today I want to tell you about my favourite idol master character and what makes her special. In the first chapter of the Million Live manga, Mirai picked up 4 clubs at once as she likes having fun. This personality contrasts to Shizuka, where she is a lot more serious, and it's through this shared dynamic that we can see just how good Mirai is. Mirai gets invited to see Shizuka perform at the theatre, and it's here where we see Mirai find the one thing she was searching for. Mirai is captivated by Shizuka's performance on stage, and this is a good moment to make Mirai feel more grounded. Although she does get up and get excited, she also sees just how incredible being an idol can be. Even though Shizuka made a mistake on stage, Mirai didn't care, and because Shizuka through her upbringing is conditioned to expect rejection, she is caught off guard when Mirai tells her that she enjoyed her performance. It's like I said, the shared dynamic between them shows off why Mirai is good. And here, you can see that through Mirai telling her that, Shizuka can loosen up a little and see that maybe sometimes she's too hard on herself. But it also goes the other way. For Shizuka performing, Mirai wants to become an idol just like her, and that's what Shizuka brings to Mirai. Mirai doesn't know much about being an idol or idol culture in general. The only reason she became an idol is because it looked like fun. However, what brings her a completely different feeling is when she stands on the stage for the first time. Although there is no audience, her being able to stand on the stage where she will one day perform is important, as she needs to understand the difference between sitting in the audience and her being up there. Mirai has her first lesson as an idol, and she's obviously struggling. It's a new challenge for her, and it gives her the opportunity to grow. But the important part of this lesson is again the dynamic between Mirai and Shizuka. Shizuka isn't the type to laugh and joke around in lessons, but when Mirai is there, you get to see Shizuka mellow out and have a little fun. The two are growing closer together, and this all culminates when Shizuka tells Mirai all about her dream. Shizuka has never told anyone about it, and the fact that Mirai is the first person to hear her dream, it shows that Mirai is important to her. Shizuka is getting ready for a big performance, but unfortunately she pushes herself too hard and ends up collapsing. It meant that she couldn't perform, and it meant that Mirai had to take her place. This is the first moment where you see cracks appear in that light-hearted disposition. Mirai is upset that her friend can't perform. This moment hits especially hard when you realise that Mirai knows all about Shizuka's dream. Mirai doesn't want to perform in her place because of this reason. It's not her stage to perform on, and it's here where we see Mirai feel more grounded than what she appears as on the surface. It's only through Shizuka texting her some encouragement that she was able to perform. She sees that in performing, she can show just how hard Shizuka worked for this. Mirai is about to make her stage debut, but she isn't happy about it. Instead, she's thinking about Shizuka in a way she can show off that hard work. After the performance, things start to go wrong in Mirai and Shizuka's relationship. Shizuka isn't happy that Mirai got to perform in her place, but at the same time she's happy for her as she was able to have her stage debut. So basically she's jealous and happy for her at the same time. Shizuka isn't able to properly process these feelings, and it leads to her snapping at Mirai. And from Mirai's perspective, she thinks she let Shizuka down. The reason she was able to perform was through that encouragement from her, but she wanted to show off what Shizuka worked hard on. And she thinks that she wasn't good enough in doing so, therefore she feels as if she let Shizuka down. However, Minako and Nao assure Mirai that Shizuka wouldn't get mad at her for that. So this just leaves Mirai confused, and due to this, she starts crying. Her best friend might hate her now, and she has no idea why. Mirai feeling she let Shizuka down, and the fact she is so upset she starts crying, it shows that Mirai has a big heart. She wants to bring Shizuka back to her, and the only way she thinks of doing so is by using her wage to pay Shizuka to perform with her. But this doesn't really work. It was going to take a lot more than that to reunite the two. Mirai wanted to perform with Shizuka at the cultural festival, but Shizuka was busy helping out her class with their activities. Mirai tries calling out to her and calls Shizuka her #1 idol. It's moments like this again that show Mirai is more than what she is on the surface. She is again on a stage, and instead of thinking of only herself, she's thinking of performing with others, as that is more fun for her. You'll see that Mirai's most prominent trait is the way she's able to bring energy to others. By calling out to Shizuka to bring her back, it allows the two to reunite, and it also allows Shizuka to face Mirai properly. Shizuka was already planning on speaking to Mirai, however, it's through Mirai's action that the two reunited sooner, and there was also the chance of Shizuka not being able to properly face her, meaning that the two may have never made up. Through Mirai's action, the two managed to reunite, and for this reason, this is one of my favourite moments that defines Mirai as a character. Now I want to move on and talk about two of our main story kommus from the game. In her first story kommu, it depicts Mirai's experience in being the center for the first time. You can see straight away that Mirai is a bit nervous to do it, as it would be a new experience. However, what is interesting about it is that it seems that Mirai is more nervous about figuring out what it actually means to be center and understanding what it takes to be a good one. Mirai is a little confused about it, and producer tells her to seek some advice from her seniors at the office. She has a conversation with Haruka, and she gives her some general advice like being mindful of the other performers. She also tells her that the most important aspect of being the center was something Mirai already knew. Mirai figures out that it's important that everyone has fun, which includes the audience. This again shows that Mirai's most prominent trait is the way she gives energy to everyone. Of course her fellow idols are important to her, but she also wants to make sure the energy she is giving is being given to the crowd as well. It is a super endearing part of her as a character as a whole. After her performance as the center, she was wrapped up in the exciting atmosphere, but even so she still remembered the most important thing. She acknowledges the audience and if they had as much fun as she did. This again is another example of how big her heart is. Anyone could get wrapped up in the atmosphere of performing in front of others, and yet Mirai still remembered the audience. The next story kommu I want to talk about depicts Mirai getting a new song and her struggling to sing it. In this kommu, she puts herself down by comparing herself to her peers. She says that Shizuka is good at singing and that Tsubasa is good at dancing, and that she isn't good at anything. She even feels a little guilty of her getting a new song before the two, as they are so much better than her. I think that when you look at Mirai on the surface, you see someone who is happy and cheerful, but here she feels inferior to others and she's upset because of it. Producer does reassure Mirai that there is something she is good at, and it goes back to what I said before. Her most prominent trait is the energy she is able to give to others. But Mirai isn't able to accept that so easily. She knows she's good at that, but she questions whether that is good enough. I can actually relate to this aspect of her as a character quite a bit. As someone who has played guitar for a long time, I found myself in places where I've felt inferior to others. So I'm able to empathise with Mirai here, as feeling like you aren't good enough compared to others can be a really awful feeling. After the recording session finished, she met up with Shizuka and Tsubasa. The two had a tough lesson, and through Mirai's lively energy, she manages to cheer them up. They even decide to hang out, as after their lesson the two are feeling tired, but through Mirai's lively energy they feel energized. Mirai sees here that maybe bringing energy to others was good enough, as not only does she directly see what her energy brings to people, but it is also the two people who she felt were so much better than her. Previously she saw these two as so much better than what she was, but by them being directly impacted by Mirai's energy, Mirai's most important trait is validated, and at that point she was able to see just how important that was. Before finishing the recording of the song, Mirai wanted to perform the song live. I think she wanted to capture the feeling of bringing a lively atmosphere to everyone, so that she could be ready to record the song. To me, performing it live before recording it was a pretty brave decision. Mirai knows that she was struggling with the song. She knows that she could make a mistake, but to her, there was no other way she could record the song without performing it live first. Although she realised that bringing a lively atmosphere was a really important trait, she wanted to see the result of it through performing the song so that she could feel ready. The song Mirai Hiko is my favourite Mirai solo. The song is about Mirai discovering that being an idol can be tough at times, but through performing with others and heading to that distant future with them, she's able to overcome those challenges. I really like the song because of that, and also the way it mirrors this comment. And with that, there's only one more thing I want to say. Happy birthday Mirai Kasuga. I remember when I first initially got into Million Live, you were one of the idols that I had a strong interest in. I probably thought, damn, this girl is an idiot, but she also kind of funny. Your personality is what drew me in, but the way you have grown and developed is what made me stay. All I want to say is, it doesn't matter if you aren't an amazing singer like Shizuka, or an amazing dancer like Tsubasa, and I'm glad you saw that for yourself. You know who you are at your core. You're someone who loves making sure every person around you is having fun. The fact you want to be an idol for everyone is extremely inspiring and very endearing. And because of that, I'm able to look towards you whenever I'm feeling down, because I know you of all people will be able to cheer me up. Mirai, throughout your time as an idol, you've truly grown into someone special. And from when I got into Million Life, I didn't know just how much of an immeasurable impact you would have on me. And for that reason, I'm able to call you my favourite character in the franchise. Again, thanks for everything, and one more time, happy birthday Mirai Kasuga.